Good evening and welcome to Music Standards Theater, where we will be discussing what are the different music standards out there, what do they mean, and which ones are most effective for instruction. So, we'll be analyzing a few different state standards. We will be analyzing California, New York, and Florida, and we will also be looking at the National Board for Professionalism teaching standards for music, not extensively, and we will also include conversations around the national core music instruction standards. So starting with the states, Florida, New York, and California, we're going to go into analyzing second grade and what each of these standards has to say a second grader has to learn by the end of the year. So in Florida, we have sentences similar to the following. Respond to a piece of music and discuss individual interpretations. Classify unpitched instruments into metals, membranes, shakers, and wooden categories. Identify child, adult male, and adult female voices by timbre. So that's all contained within the critical thinking and reflection portion of the standard on cognition and reflection. As you can see, that's not incredibly specific. It doesn't get into notation. It doesn't get into theory, which you might expect from this benchmark, but actually over the course of the Florida standards, there's no specific expectations around students knowing what an eighth note is, students knowing what a quarter note is. So it's problematic in terms of focusing solely on students' experiential life. New York, I would say, is a little bit better because what it does is it has a lot of the same experiential components and critical thinking components that you can find in the Florida. And what I mean by experiencing music is benchmarks like listen to this piece of music and be able to identify, which we saw in the last benchmark, adult versus children's voices by their timbre. That's not a child playing music. That's a child experiencing music and then reflecting and responding to it. The reason that New York is a little bit better in terms of getting closer to the practice of music is that it gets into more explicitly saying things like this. Sing songs and play instruments maintaining tone, quality, pitch, rhythm, tempo, and dynamics. Perform the music expressively and sing or play simple instruments with repeated pattern ostinatos, with familiar songs, rounds, partner songs, and harmonizing parts. That's much more specific. It gives the teacher much more clear expectations around what students in the second grade are supposed to be able to do in terms of music performance or the act of engaging in music themselves. It also goes into what is a little bit problematic is that it says things like, in performing ensembles, read very easy/easy music and respond appropriately to the gestures of the conductor. It does say here that that is qualified as New York State Music Association level 1 or level 2. But saying that something is easy or very easy is also not incredibly helpful to an instructor who's looking to these benchmarks or these standards in terms of something that's going to help guide them, because that can be what is very easy can be qualified and can be really misguided given your expectations. California is the best because it is the best state and it is amazing. It's not perfect, but the California standards have very concrete kind of holistic view, which ranges from the experiential all the way over to the concrete music theory lens of music instruction. So an example of that is read, write, and perform simple rhythmic patterns, including eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, and rests. So the reason that this is really helpful as a music instructor, and we can say whether or not that standard is the right thing for kids, if I'm thinking that I need to be pushing my kids towards 16th notes or triplets, and I teach K through 5, it helps ground me in the sense that no, in the second grade, students should be able to do eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, and rests. So I have a goal in terms of the way that I want students to read and notate music that's very, very concrete, it's very attainable, and it's also very clear. It's not using qualified language. So those are a few of the different reasons why I tend to really lean towards California. I would say New York is about second best, and Florida needs to rewrite their music standards. God bless you.